You sound wonderful. Please be seated. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Society of Germantown. My name is Susan Rizak, and my pronouns are she, her. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation united in a common purpose to make love real in our lives and in the world. We are diverse in our beliefs, atheists and agnostic, believers and seekers, and we welcome you here, no matter your race, your class, your gender identity, your sexual orientation, your family structure, your job, or your health. Here we know that no matter our differences, we are connected by the interdependent web of life. If you are a newcomer, we are grateful for your presence. We know how hard it is to enter a new community. We invite you to introduce yourself to someone at the welcome table, and they will be happy to answer any questions you have about this congregation or Unitarian Universalism. Please complete a visitor form and join us for fellowship hour and lunch following the service. And feel free to head outside and enjoy the season. In the back of the sanctuary, you'll find a nursery, great for those among us with infants and crawlers. For those ages 1 to 3, you'll find childcare in the wiggle room and razors. We are collecting these items in the gray plastic bins near the food pantry collection. Please add and consider it your faith in action for the week. Next, I am very pleased to announce that I, along with Jerry Whelan and Emily Stortle, are forming a Persons with Disabilities peer support group. We are hoping to create a safe space for those of us in this congregation to come together and share what it is like to work, play, and live in an ableist world. Please email disabilitiesgroup@usguu.org to get connected. And now Rick Rhodes is going to come up and give you some news.
And do I have news? First of all, good morning, USG. And happy Mother's Day. So the news is this: 6 weeks ago, we launched the largest and most aggressive pledge campaign in the history of this church. The magic number, the hard to achieve number was $400,000 to support everything. 2 days ago, this past Friday, we received some very timely and significant pledges. So I am thrilled to tell you we have reached and surpassed our $400,000 goal. Now, to celebrate, we do have cake upstairs. But here's the caveat: if you've pledged, you get 2 pieces of cake. If you haven't pledged, you only get 1 piece of cake. I'm just kidding. But I will say this: for those who haven't pledged, studies have shown if you pledge in general to USG in particular, you'll be healthier and happier. Thank you.
Now, as we deepen into worship, I ask that you silence your cell phones and allow yourself to be present for this hour. But please don't silence your children. Their sounds are welcome here.
Good morning, Unitarian Society of Germantown. My name is Reverend Hannah Capaldi. I use she, her pronouns, and it is my honor to serve this congregation as your minister. I want to welcome in particular today our new staff member, Lindsay Augustus. Lindsay, would you take a stand? I invite you to introduce yourself to her and help her welcome be a warm one here. We are so lucky to have her. She has deep roots in Northwest Philly and is very active in the PTA around, in the schools around here, and has a kid at CNS and brings a whole bucket load of real-time graphic arts, graphic design, communication skills that we are very, very fortunate to have and bring on board. So I hope you'll give her a warm welcome when you see her. I'm excited to see so many of you today because I wanted to let you know in on a little secret, which is those of you who are here today are the kinds of congregants who say, for Mother's Day, I just really want to go to church as a family. And those are my favorite congregants. Our call to worship today comes from Becky Brooks. It's right there on the calendar, even if your mother has died. Even if you've been told yet again that you are still not pregnant. Or if you've never been more scared than you are in this moment because you are pregnant. It's Mother's Day. It will be Mother's Day even if by choice or by chance we do not have children. Even if your mother's priorities included everything but you. It's Mother's Day. That cake mix commercial is going to roll out 4 times an hour. It's Mother's Day. And we all have to live with that in those silent, breathless moments because even when we lose a child, it's Mother's Day. So let's go to church. Let us be a church where we can acknowledge how difficult it is to have this day, right alongside how joyful this day can be too. Let's be a church where we don't pretend there aren't uncomfortable spaces between us even as we sing. Let us be a church that fills the space between us with love. Because even in those difficult and joyful places, there is always room for love. Come, let us worship together.
Our chalice will be lit today by Michael Masso. And please join me in the unison words printed in your order of service. We light this chalice, the beacon that calls us to love, to justice, to a deepening of the Spirit.
Good on this? Turn the lab up. Yeah, great. I want to invite up the Dearden Hopper family for a very special moment today. During our usual time for all ages, we have a child dedication. How many of you have ever seen a Unitarian Universalist child dedication? Beautiful. Well, we don't have baptism in this religion, but we do have dedication. Can you take a seat, Justice? Thank you. This morning, we have gathered to collectively dedicate Aurora Noel Hopper. Raise her high. Look at that smiley baby. We dedicate our children to affirm the inherent worth and dignity of each life, that we, as Unitarian Universalists, are not born of original sin, but of original blessing. We dedicate our children collectively and in community to affirm the commitment of the congregation to nurture and sustain families and caregivers. So how appropriate to do it on Mother's Day. I want to mention that many of the words in this dedication are from the liturgy that I was dedicated with as a child in the Unitarian Universalist Church. And so it is very meaningful to me to pass these along to you, Rory. Rory, you have come with stardust in your hair, with the rush of planets in your blood, your heart beating out the seasons of eternity with a shining in your eyes like the sunlight. Your parents have brought you here to be dedicated, to celebrate the joy they have that you are a part of their family and to count themselves blessed. Here you will learn to count the number of your days and to weigh their meaning, to gather into your mind the wisdom of your ancestors, to know why we call one thing right and another wrong, to treasure beauty, mercy, and justice in the deep places of your being.
To all of the children and youth of this congregation, will you take this moment to stand up or raise your hands really high?
Who are the kiddos here today? Yes,
Yeah.
I see some of you.
Okay. This is
This is
you.
your moment. This is your big moment.
To the children and youth of this congregation, will you promise to befriend this child and welcome her into our community of love, learning, and care? To play with her and share with her and help her find her way when she is lost? If so, please say, "We will." I didn't hear you. If so, please say, "We will." Okay. And to all of the adults, will you welcome this family into our community, being with them in times of struggle and gladness? Will you promise to delight in this child's accomplishments, share in her sorrows, and encourage her as she grows into adulthood? If so, please say, "We will."
To Dave and John and Sue, will you embrace this child? I need you to go. Sorry, honey. Come on. It's my own child. To Dave and John and Sue, will you embrace this child with your whole hearts? Will you promise to help her learn about the world and tell her the stories of who and where she comes from, and love her without condition or reservation? Please say, "We will." Your part's coming. To the godparents, Jill and Drew, as godparents, will you honor this child as an important and vital part of your life? Will you help her to know herself fully and remind her of her strengths when she forgets? Will you counsel her through times of hardship and celebrate extravagantly in times of joy? Please say, "We will." We will. To Jack and Eddie, I want to block you so everyone can see. Will you promise to be kind to your little sister, to include her in your games and show her how to be strong and brave? Will you teach her how to be gentle with animals and other babies? Help her to learn the best knock-knock jokes and guide her in making friends? Will you say, "We will"? To her parents, Erica and John, will you help your child to realize the best that is in her? Will you seek to the best of your ability to instruct her by your teaching and to commit yourselves to helping this child discover the source of love at the center of her life? Please say, "We will." We will. Okay, Zoe, will you come help me with this part? Using water at our water communion, the symbol of life, and the rose, a symbol of your unfolding days, let us dedicate this child together in the service of goodness, beauty, and truth. Rory, you are blessed on your brow, on your eyes, on your lips, your heart, and your hands, that your thoughts, your vision, your speech, your love, and your may be dedicated to the service of humankind. And this is for you, little one. May this child serve with strength as her life unfolds, to the end that the richness and wonder of life may be abundantly. May peace dwell in her heart, understanding in her mind. May courage strengthen her will, and the love of truth forever guide her. May it be so, and amen. Yeah? And now let us sing our kids out to their classes all together. What number is it, Susan? 301.
Oh, it's my 301.
Verses 1, 2, and 3.
right. This Sunday, we will be splitting our plate with the Philadelphia Community Bail Fund, which runs an annual Black Mamas Bailout for Mother's Day to release caregivers from the African diaspora who are detained pre-trial on cash bail. This includes moms, grandmothers, aunties, and pregnant people, even men who are the primary or custodial parent. We are inspired by the wide definition of mama and the way the Philadelphia Community Bail Fund works to reunite families caught in the carceral system. Please give generously, as we find that the more we give away, the more comes our way. To give in cash or check, please drop in the plate as ushers pass by. To give by text, please follow the instructions on the back cover of your order of service.
I invite you to settle into a posture of prayer or meditation. Find your feet on the ground, your jaw relax, let your shoulders fall. Breathe in, filling your lungs with air. Exhale all the way. Breathe in, breathe out. Those Who Gave Us Life by Linda Hart. From where have we come? This breath, these fingers, a heart that opens and closes, opens and closes. What is it that has made this body, feet and legs, hair and teeth? We come into consciousness in the middle of the story. The middle of the world and its vast life reaches far before we knew and grasps at the future we cannot see. And here we are, living these days for better or for worse. Whatever acts of chance occurred to bring us to birth, whatever happenstance laid this particular path for our lives in these moments of calm and stillness, let our hearts open in gratitude for the gifts that can be found along the way. For love given sweet and free, for the peace of the morning, the warm colors of the sunset, for the grace of companions, for the moments of ongoing birth as our hearts are renewed, and for those who have offered us the gift of mothering. No matter age, no matter gender, those who have tended and cared, who have offered support and comfort, who have journeyed with us, those who have given us life by birth and by their presence in our lives. Recognizing the grief that often comes with such memories, let us open in compassion for our broken hearts, for our lost mothers, mothers who could not love us as we needed, mothers who left us, and especially for those whose longing for children was never met. In the stillness of these moments, I invite you to speak aloud the names of those who have given you life, who have companioned you and are held in your heart this day. Whisper them now. Fill the soft space of our time of prayer with the names of those who mothered you, and the acts of attention that mattered most, the acts of attention that called forth our safest, happiest selves, that nudged us towards wholeness. Say their names now. May they hear our prayers today. May they feel our love, our gratitude, our regrets, and our growing edges, all wrapped up tight. This, our Mother's Day prayer. May it be so, and amen.
At this time, we invite you to contribute your joys and sorrows to the bowls of water at the front of the sanctuary. Choose a pebble or a smooth stone and place it in the water to absorb your pain or ripple out with your joy. Sterns will play as we process. Reverend Hannah will place one smooth stone and one pebble into the water on behalf of all those joining us online. Please remain seated and join in singing hymn number 123 in the hardback hymnal, Spirit of Life, after which we will share a moment of silence.
I'm becoming my mother. I'm becoming the image of her. In the mirror upon closer inspection, I see her reflection recur. I've developed her profile. I've developed her furrowing brow. That odd little quake her mouth used to make, I've started to take up now. I'm becoming my mother. I'm becoming so set in her ways. I'll be somewhere mid-sentence and stop, 'cause I'll hear myself copying her turn of phrase. And the thing that's so weird, the person I'd feared becoming, I'm coming to be. And the more that I grow like my mother, the more that I grow to like me.
I started this tradition a few years ago in order to make Mother's Day at church feel meaningful. I kept coming up against the challenge of all the different ways we could be a mother or have a mother, the grief of it, the hardship of it, the profound joy and connection that comes from it. And what I felt called to do was invite more voices to the pulpit on Mother's Day. And so now I bring this tradition here in my first Mother's Day with all of you. I've invited 3 lay leaders to reflect on motherhood for them, and I hope that you will receive them with tenderness and open hearts, and we can share in the complexity of this very mixed up day.
This is a little intense for me, I'm not gonna lie, so just bear with me a little bit. So, I'm Ojas's mother, occasionally known as Jendai. I am a single mother by choice. This means I intentionally became a mother without a partner. I used a donor with no connection or obligation to Ojas and me. You might think this was a difficult decision, but it was arguably one of the easiest and clearest choices I've ever made. Perhaps it's because I'm a woman of color who has seen social, cultural, and historical examples of women who look like me raising children independently. There's an element of societal profiling which also subconsciously might have affected me, but probably, most importantly, it's because I was raised by a single mother who I now know worked miracles behind the scenes while I was living my best life. We started out in a humble apartment with my mother timing naps with her grad school classes so she could nurse me under her poncho in class if I woke up. We eventually moved to a beautiful row house in DC's Capitol Hill neighborhood where I grew up. She'd wake up at 4 a.m. to get work done before she went to work, get me ready for my day ahead, drive me to school every morning, make home-cooked meals. I had stamps in my passport. I went to cool after-school arts programs. I had everything I wanted and needed, and then some. The world my mother created on one income is truly impressive. This example of single motherhood left me with little fear of following my mother's path. Let me add, I know my father and love him deeply, and I know he loved me. He was vital in shaping who I am. But it is my mother who engineered and implemented and supported the life I knew and grew up with. The lifestyle I knew was independently created by her. As I navigate the relatively new waters of single motherhood, I now see my own mother's journey through a much clearer lens, realizing how effortless she made it seem for me. Now knowing it was not effortless at all. I've gained a new appreciation for all the behind-the-scenes efforts that contributed to my upbringing. The admiration I held for my mother has deepened significantly since becoming a mother myself. I have immense respect for all the single mothers of color before me. The daily hurdles, obstacles, and anxieties. The microaggressions from well-meaning, and sometimes not so well-meaning white people, are experiences no one could have ever warned me about. My mother often said that motherhood embodies the greatest fears and pain and frustration and failure you'll ever experience. But it is far outweighed by the greatest sense of joy and purpose and accomplishments and truly unconditional love. Only 2.5 years in, I already know this to be true. This new life as a mother is the most challenging I've ever experienced, and just as much the most filled with joy and wonder and abundance. Ojas is truly the love of my life. He counts on me to guide and protect him. But he's my guide too. Every day I consciously choose how I show up as a mother for him, which affects how I show up for everyone.
For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jen Balot. I am married to the lovely Marissa, and mother to Sage, who I saw somewhere. There he is, Leor, and Bella and Justice, who are out at CSD. Wait, no, somebody waved, okay. But frankly, so many others as well. A significant influence in my upbringing was my maternal grandmother, also known as Tootsie, Gigi, or by her nurses, Medea, if anyone knows Tyler Perry. Tootsie and I had a special relationship. When I was 4 years old, my mother decided to return to school for her master's degree. This was well before online learning, so she and I moved in with Tootsie for the summer so that Mom could be closer to the campus of Central Michigan University. It must have been that summer that cemented my close bond to Tootsie, as we always spoke easily and freely with each other. We were buddies without borders. Tootsie was nothing to trifle with. She had a deep and booming laugh that was contoured by years of smoking. Her flabby triceps were her angel's wings, and her what the hell outlook on life meant flipping her dentures upside down if it made me laugh, or wearing her nightgown out to dinner if she thought she could pass it off as a pretty dress. Tootsie was the person you called when you needed a ride to chemo, when the church ran out of communion wafers, or your kid had a kernel of corn stuck up his nose. Her superpower was nurturing, and from Tootsie, I learned so many lessons about motherhood. Today, I'm honored to share 3 with you. Number 1, motherhood is writing the story. Tootsie was raised in a deeply abusive home where the budget for alcohol outweighed the budget for food. She got out early. She married 2 weeks before she would have graduated high school. Tootsie bore 8 children in 9 years and raised them all almost single-handedly when her husband died young, while she managed a 160-acre farm. Doing whatever it took to create security and stability for her family, Tootsie worked multiple jobs to feed her brood. But she grew from her trauma, using strength and ingenuity to sow goodness. Tootsie wrote the story of the life that she wished to create, creating love within hardship and bringing flowers to barren land. I think of her daily, sometimes hourly, as my own family seeks to write our story. Number 2, motherhood is shades of gray. Tootsie taught me that life's greatest surprises can contain life's most profound lessons. August 22nd, 2013 was a hot and sticky humid day in Philadelphia. With only a few hours' notice, a squalling baby girl that you all now know as Isabella was thrust into my arms without much more than a bag of dirty bottles. This was the day I became a foster mom. In the coming months, I faced so many questions and found so few answers. I was beset with intense love and roaring advocacy for this small child, but also the stark reality of the trauma and deprivation that brought her into my arms. I was happy and sad. I was scared and confident. Any time I spent caring for this child was a gift from the universe, and it was not lost on me that the circumstances bringing her to my home were tragic. In the adoption world, some folks call this the gotcha day, as in the day that our family gotcha. Make no mistake, this was no one's gotcha day. The universe had blessed me with a daughter, but that gift was someone else's loss. Life is never purely good or bad, black or white. There are beautiful and infinite shades of gray. Which leads me to the last lesson, number 3. Motherhood is honor. In 2009, immersed in postpartum fugue, I was holding baby Leor while talking to Tootsie on the phone. I told her how in love I was with this sweet baby boy, and she laughed and she said, "Oh, honey, don't even think about having more." Because if you have 3, then you're going to have 4. And if you have 4, then you might as well have 8, and then it's all over. Joke's on me, Tootsie. Tootsie taught me that it does not matter if you carried a child in your womb or your heart. It does not matter if a child carries your DNA, or even if you were there to witness their first steps. Motherhood is helping, feeding, nurturing, supporting, and growing. Motherhood picks up the mantle where others could not, or would not, or did not. When a person finds your door, sits at your kitchen table, offers you their trust, they are your child. Motherhood is an honor, and you have been chosen. Happy Mother's Day to you all.
Well, it's been different than I pictured. Becoming a mom was different than I pictured. When we decided we were ready, I required the assistance of medicine. There was no room for the joyful mystery of waiting and wondering. I had to make tough choices and hold on to determination and hope. Being pregnant was different than I pictured. There was no baby shower. The clothing I prepared for my changing body to be at the office for months went mostly unworn. The cooking classes I planned to take could not happen. My best friend had to clean and paint the house we had just bought. The cravings for meat people said I'd have as a vegetarian was instead iced milk and saltines. I was having premature contractions and went on bed rest very early. Trying my hardest to keep my twins in the oven, I was glad I had strong arms to keep my body suspended from jarring in the very bumpy cab rides from Brooklyn to Manhattan on the 5 false alarms to the hospital. My paternal leave was used up before my babies were born. Mothering has been different than I pictured. We quickly discovered that my then spouse was not maturing to the role of parent like I thought would happen. He was more like the fun uncle, and I was the everything parent. I loved being a mom, experience a kind of love you feel deeply in your whole body, enwrapped in instilling core values and joyful living with these beautiful new persons. But this got harder as they got older and could see this got harder as they got older and could see their parents did not have a partnership like some of their friends' parents. Other things became a struggle. Finances were not adequately attended. My daughters began growing into their individual selves, and the intense closeness we had was shifting. Disorders began to surface, and the long process of learning and understanding began for all of us. The marriage eventually ended in a very difficult divorce. Being a mom has been fulfilling in ways I could not have pictured. Seeing immediate family and extended family pulling together like never before. My sister sending me all the baby clothes and caring needs she'd saved over the years, marked by age and Ziplocs. Weekly calls from my father-in-law, later learning he was checking on timing for his wife who was diligently crocheting 2 blankets. My sister-in-law assembling the cribs and stocking my freezer with homemade meals. All of us taking up an entire row in the elementary school auditorium to see my daughter perform the 1-minute, you must pay the rent. My girls and me sharing all the milestones throughout grade school with a large neighborhood of friends. Our family broadening and blossoming exponentially and deeply with our UU community in New York. Being a mom has taught me to let go. It's taught me to trust, to meet my kids where they are, that the most important thing is to be a constant source of love and support. Even, I'm gonna go there. Even when it means getting their worst, because they need you to be a safe space for that. And my biggest hope for them is that what they remember most are those special, joyful moments we've shared, things that made us laugh together until it hurt, just like what I remember and cherish most about my mom. Through all the hurt and dysfunction, there's incredible love, there's tremendous joy, and the preciousness of life is realized. Now please rise. In body.
I'll give them a minute to breathe and you all to rest for a second. In the intensity of what was shared, I'm so grateful to each of you for taking this invitation so seriously, for bearing yourselves so fully in front of this community. I found it inspiring. The tears were welcome. I hope you all know this is a place to cry. And let's go forth knowing motherhood is never just one thing, and we are all called to do it in lots of different ways, that each of us can be a mother to others, especially now, when tenderness and protection and fierce love are so needed in this world. Let us sing together our final hymn, number 1012, When I Am Frightened. Please rise as you are able.
Is Michael here? As we extinguish our chalice, please join me in unison with the words printed in your order of service. We extinguish our chalice, but the flame remains in us as we live into the mission of this congregation, building beloved community with compassion, service, and empowerment.
Beloveds, go forth today knowing that you are loved by something greater and more powerful than you ever thought possible. That there is enough love in this world to fill in all the gaps left by the mothers who weren't up to the task. And that there is a deep well that we are called to add to in this world with our love, our compassion, and our fierce hope. Happy Mother's Day to you all. May it be so, and amen.